Namaste, everyone. Thank you for coming today if you're here. And this video is being recorded on January 1st, 2023. So welcome to the new year. Today I'm going to be teaching the Surya Namaskar sequence. And hopefully those of you who are here have seen it or have some experience. But if you don't, it's a really great asana to start with. And so hopefully you'll learn a little bit about how to do it the proper way. Sri Acharya has taught me this sequence. I think this is going on 6 or 7 years that I have known and practiced this sequence. And it's just a really great short sequence to start with when you're starting yoga. It's great for beginners, it's great for advanced people, and it's just a great way to really deepen your asana practice and to help with the meditation practice as well. So with that, I'll just explain a little bit about what I'm going to do today. So first and foremost, before anything, I'm going to show you the Surya Namaskar sequence in full without explaining anything, just so you can see what it looks like without an explanation and what the flow looks like and sort of get a feel of what it is. And then the second time that I go through it, I will be explaining more in depth, not in too great of detail, but I'll do a little bit more in depth just so you can get a feel of what the asana should feel like and how that should feel in your body, what muscles that you'll be working on, and where to disperse your energy when you're in that particular asana. Okay, so with that, I will go ahead and get started. Okay, so that is one round of the Surya Namaskar sequence. Now I'm going to go through it and talk a little bit about what each posture is, what it's called. I'll probably touch on a little bit of Sanskrit, but mostly just sticking to the English names for each asana. So with that, and just one other thing as a side, when you practice Surya Namaskar, it's good to practice them in even rounds. So you should never just do one. I mean, it's okay to do that, but typically you want to do 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. So always do even numbers just so you're getting just an even number of sequence. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, and this isn't technically in the posture, but it's a great way to start, is just in Tadasana. So in Tadasana, we're going to start with the hands to the sides, palms facing outwards, and really here we're just feeling the energy dispersed evenly in your feet and getting a really good stance. It's not even necessary that you have your knees straight, like your legs completely straight. They can be a little bit bent. Just really get a good feel of where your center is in Tadasana or mountain pose. So this is where we're starting. And even in these poses where you're just standing, you're really not just standing. You're always engaging your muscles. So for example, I'm always getting a good stretch throughout my elbows, throughout my arms, knees, and through the legs. And you just really want to feel like you're in a powerful position right here. And then next, we're going to bring the hands to our center into Pranamasana, or salutation pose. Again, this is really just a good way to initiate the sequence. This is the technical first posture, is Pranamasana. So we're bringing them to center, and we're going to start here. Again, just getting a good feel of your grounding and your center before you start engaging in the rest of the asanas. And then from here, we're going to begin to turn the hands outward, pointing the fingers forward, and stretching the arms forward as well. You're going to pull your body a little bit forward, and that's okay. You're kind of like gracefully moving into the next asana. So once you've done this, we're going to pull the hands apart, again, still stretching, and then we're going to very gently begin to lift the arms up. Again, stretching. You should feel a stretch from your fingertip to the bottom of your feet. So engaging the whole body here. And then very gently, you want to bend backwards. So this is the upward hand, hand backward bend. So we're going to move backwards here. And you really want to make sure to bend at the waist as much as possible. If you feel your torso beginning to tighten, really that's when you want to settle your energy into your legs. So we're going to, again, continue to move backwards. And if you can only bend back this far, that's completely fine. These are a little bit more advanced. And you really want to have a strong center of gravity here at your base before you begin to move backwards more. So again, this is perfectly fine. Even if you can just do this for now, that's okay. So raised hand posture, we're going to raise it up, and you really are using your hands to guide you here. Once you've bent back as far as you can, we're going to very gently begin to come back up. Now it's very important to not make abrupt movements either, because you don't want to jerk yourself into and out of poses. As much as is possible, you want to try and move as gracefully as you can. And sometimes that means not overexerting yourself or not overextending a posture. So again, raise hand posture. We're going to, again, straightening and stretching the arms upward. And then we're going to begin to bend at the hinge of the waist forward. Try not to bend your knees. If you have to, that's okay though. So this is the hand to foot pose. And in this posture, it's really important to try and keep a straight back as much as is possible, bending only from your waist. You're going to be keeping a lot of your energy down here and using the legs and the feet to fully support your upper body. So when we're in this pose, you also want to be mindful that you're not tightening the neck and the shoulders. Because sometimes when we do that, if we don't have good strength here, we kind of want to transfer that here to this part of the body. So you don't want to do that. Just bend forward as much as you can. Again, if you have to bend your knees, that's okay until you get better strength in your feet and your ankles and the base of your legs. So bend forward. If you can go deeper, that's fantastic. Use the breath to go deeper and deeper into the posture and try and grab onto the backs of your ankles. Or again, if you can't go that far, you can grab onto the backs of your knees or your shins, and that's okay. So this is the hand to foot pose, sorry. And this one is Parahasta asana. And again, the goal though is to have straight legs. A straight back is very important, and relax the neck and upper back here. Next, we're going to put the hands parallel with your feet, and we're going to bring the right foot backwards into equestrian pose. And this one is called Ashva Sanchalana Asana. Here, if you can see my leg, it should have a very perpendicular leg, making a 90-degree angle to the ground. And my hand should be parallel with this foot. So this needs to be straight. And then in the back, you want to make sure that your foot is not flexed underneath like this, but have the top of that foot lying on the ground to support you like that. And then again, you really want to engage your thighs with this one. So your thighs and your legs should be supporting you. You can use your hands for support. That's okay when you're first getting started. But primarily you want to really engage these muscles here because you're getting a good stretch from the knee all the way to the bottom of this leg right here. So I'm going to just do this. And then you also want to just drop your seat very gently and press your chest forward a little bit and then looking up and back. And you'll really feel the stretch under here in this leg and also on the top of this one. And then next, after you stretch your neck upward, you want to very gently move backward. Now you can tuck that back foot underneath. And we're going to move this foot backwards into plank pose, also known as Uttihita Chaturanga Danda Asana. That's a mouthful. So with this one, you want to disperse your energy evenly throughout your fingers. So you should even feel this in your knuckles, and try, if you feel it in your wrist, try to press your fingers into the ground more, because you shouldn't be putting all your pressure in the wrist here. If you can't do plank, it is okay to start off with your knees on the ground, because this one can be a little bit intense. So you don't want to go too hard on yourself. You can rest those knees if you absolutely need to until you gain stronger upper body strength. Okay, so in this one from plank pose, we're going to very gently lower ourselves down, resting the knees first, and then lift your seat up. Put your chest on the ground and your chin should lie on the ground. And this is called Ashtanga Namaskara, or salutation with 8 limbs. Now, this one might seem like it's more of a relaxing pose, but in this one, you also want to engage your muscles. So pressing your fingers and your hands into the ground, and then you also want to kind of engage your legs and abdominal muscles too. So after here, you're going to start to lift yourself up out of that pose into Bhujangasana, or Cobra pose. So with this one, again, we're really engaging the upper body. And then also
In this one, if you need to use your knees, that's okay to do so as well. Okay, so with Cobra pose, you can lie your knees on the ground if you need to. The feet should be, or the tops of the feet should be touching the ground. And then you just want to really allow your spine to drop to the floor as much as possible. And then we're going to look up and back.
Begin to lower your head back down. And then from here, we're going to transfer to downward dog. So pushing our seat up to the sky. And then ultimately with this one, you do want to have your feet flat on the floor. But when you're first starting out, you might need to have your tippy toes up, and that's okay too. The goal is to get a really good stretch in here to the point where you can have your feet flat on the floor. And then again, we are also pressing the hands into the ground, pushing the upper body backwards. And then you want to try to have as straight a back as possible. And again, this is one of those postures where we tend to want to tighten our neck muscles and our upper back. So try to not do that and just let the head dangle as much as is possible. And then again, with each of these postures, as you breathe into them and allow your body to relax, you actually build flexibility and strength while you're doing that. And one of the reasons is because the breath itself is very cooling to the muscles when they're getting such a good workout. And then from here, we're going to get on the tippy toes now, if they're not already like that. Bring that back foot, the right foot forward. So we should be on the opposite leg this time from when we started. And that foot should be parallel with your hands. Again, make sure the back leg should be straight. And that foot, the top of it, should be flat on the ground. Again, keep in mind with equestrian pose, we want to really engage the leg muscles and build strength in the feet and the legs so that they support us. It's okay to use your hands too when you're getting started, but make sure you're really engaging those muscles. And then you're just going to drop your seat a little bit, press your chest forward very slightly, and then look up and back as much as you can. We're going to slowly come out of this one by lowering the head. We're going to put the hands parallel with that front foot, and we're going to tuck the back foot underneath and push it upwards and forward with the front foot. So now we're back to the hand to foot posture, or Padahasta asana. And again, the feet and legs are primarily supporting us. You want your back to be as straight as possible, not hunched over like this, but you want it to try and be very, very straight and relax the neck. And then with each breath, when you're in this position, allow your body to move further and further closer to your knees. And try and grab onto the back of your heels or the back of your legs or knees. To slowly come out of this one, pressing your feet into the ground, raising your body up. We'll begin to straighten and we're going to flex the hands, point them forward, and stretch them forward and up. While you're doing this, remember to keep a straight back and only bend from the hinge of your waist. Pushing the body up. And again, we're getting a good stretch all the way from the bottom of the feet to the tips of the fingers. Once you get up here, I like to always get a really good stretch up to the sky as far as I can, and then bend backwards from the waist. Come up after you get a good bend. Stretch the hands as far as you can up to the sky. Last good stretch of this asana sequence. And you can begin to very gently bring the arms down to the sides. You can bring the hands together into Pranamasana or Salutation pose. Again, in this posture, we are recentering ourselves after we got a few nice great stretches. You can really feel the strength of your body and where your center is and where you need to work. And then we can bring the hands down to our sides. Again, pressing your feet into the ground, getting one last good stretch in those legs, and feeling very strong. And again, this last pose, this ending pose is Tadasana or mountain pose. And that is the full sequence. So that was Surya Namaskar. This, one thing I would like to say about this pose is that, or the sequence, is that it's a very, very invigorating sequence. This is a sequence that will stretch every muscle of your body. It gets all of the muscle groups. It's very good for the nervous system in that it really does a great job of dispersing and unlocking sort of like pent-up energy. So if you feel a lot of stuckness in your body, this is a really great sequence for getting rid of that or dispersing it throughout your body and allowing it to go where it needs to go. The other thing is it's called Surya Namaskar, so it is a solar, it's a solar sequence, and you will feel that afterwards. It's very enlightening. It helps with mental clarity. It just helps you feel really great. Sometimes in the beginning it can be a little overwhelming, so I would just recommend taking it really, really slow. It's okay to do these sequences slowly. You don't have to go through them very fast. But the more that you get familiar with the sequence, the easier it's going to be, the more you're going to want to do it, and the better you're going to feel over time. So again, it's something that it probably looks very easy, but it can be very challenging in some regards. But it does a good job of balancing that with a little bit of grace in some of the more restful postures or the standing postures or the 8-limbed pose where it's still engaging, but it's not too much. It doesn't overwork you in any way, but it's got some really good challenging pieces as well. So I hope you learned something from this sequence. I hope that you'll practice this and make it a part of your daily sadhana. If you do have a meditation practice, it's really great for helping to make your meditation practice more beneficial, more depthful, and you could just get a lot more out of it when you pair it with the Surya Namaskar sequence. So thank you for watching. Thank you all for being here. Namaste.